Okay. All right. Welcome. Today's workshop is on how to manage stress and overcome it. Make sure you have your handout and freebie printed for this session. We will be using it today to guide some of our conversation and reflection. And in just a moment, we'll give away a free coaching session to one lucky attendee today, where we'll work through some of your thoughts that you have around your reflection from the session and to set some action items around them. Okay, if everyone's ready, let's give away that free coaching session. Julie is our winner today, and she gets the free coaching session. Congratulations. Please stay on the line after the webinar, and we'll set a time for us to reconnect after the session, and we'll talk through when's a good time. So congratulations, Julie.
Thank you.
All right, a little bit about me, just so you know. My experience that led me here today to talk with you. I'm the owner and founder of Strategic Advancement Corporate and Education Consulting, and I come with an educational background of 23 years experience as a classroom teacher, a building principal, curriculum director, and human resources director, and also school superintendent. And then I transitioned to the corporate world, as a development executive. After 23 years of experience, my passion in helping professionals and organizations navigate this ever-changing landscape and continue to advance strategically. I really help organizations look at their culture and look at their employees and how they're engaged. And so that's where my passion is around it. So that's why I chose this topic today. So what I'd like for you to do right now is reflect on your own stress for a moment. What are your biggest stressors right now? And what is it that's making you lose sleep? So just think about that for a minute. And as you're thinking about that, consider this also. Stress is the body's way of responding to demands, and often does so with physical symptoms like tension, pain, and tightness. Chronic stress occurs when the body's stress responses are constantly triggered. Continued levels of high stress can lead to serious medical issues, both physical and mental. And stress can have a negative impact on us as leaders and our employees in a major way. I've worked with leaders over the course of the past, 8 years, and I have seen it all. And I have definitely seen how stress and a lack of balance impacts their leadership. So what I'd like to do is just think for a minute and have you talk about your biggest stressor at the moment, if you want to share it. And just talk through that. I know for me right now, my move has been the biggest stressor, and just trying to get settled and balance everything. I feel like I'm really out of balance in terms of making that commitment to working out and staying healthy throughout the move process. So I don't know if you want to share. You're welcome to. If not, that's okay.
No, I would say stress for me right now, work is stressful. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's normal stress, I guess you could categorize it that way. And other times, lately, there's been some things going on that have really gotten to me that I struggle to leave them behind when I am done at the end of the day. And I think a lot about them, which is then impacting my sleep and really even my quality of time with my family because I'm distracted. Mm-hmm. And then I think outside of work is just, I don't want to say normal as well with stress, but things that are happening across the country and the uncertainty and, not knowing what the right decisions are to make or to do or not do right now. I think there's just stress there for me that's, kind of also impacting, how much do you worry and how much do you say it'll be okay and we'll get through,
Yeah, no, I get that. It is a worry. And I think it's a worry that's weighing heavy on a lot of people's minds right now, because just the climate of everything, is just in a really odd place. And it's a scary place for a lot of us. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Melissa, did you want to share?
Well, I agree with Julie that we can categorize stress as normal because stress is everywhere. I would say, but right now within my family, I would say that my biggest stressor would be the health of my eldest daughter. So she's having physical problems that I could not, because it's kind of sensitive. But yeah, dealing with kids as well is pretty stressful. So
Yeah.
aside from the workload, but I enjoy working. Honestly, I enjoy working, and I also find stress whenever things are really disorganized. It's kind of messing up my brain.
Mhm.
And when I see things disorganized, it makes me freak out sometimes. So yeah, that's mine.
So I'm stressing you out, right?
Of course not.
Okay.
Oh,
How we show up in one area of our life, it does impact how we'll show up everywhere. And I think, Julie, same to what you were saying. Now more than ever, it's really important for us to focus on our overall wellness and support healthy choices in the areas of diet, sleep, movement, and mindfulness, because it really does combat that stress that we feel and work fatigue and just general fatigue. And it helps during periods of uncertainty. So I think overall wellness looks different for each of us. What may be good for me may not be good for Melissa or good for you. So I think as leaders, we have to find what individually works for us to maintain that overall balance when we're really stressed out. And so we can show up every day, and just be that steady for our people that we lead. So, what is self care? I really love this quote, and I think it's absolutely true. Self care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. So, I always say you can't pour from an empty cup. So, if you've got nothing left to give or you're really frustrated, it impacts how you show up every day. And self-care is essential, and we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of others. The four main aspects of self-care that we'll be focusing on today are physical, mental, emotional, and social wellness. And it's important to note that in the workplace environment, we have to look at self-care as a priority. And it could be anything from brain breaks during the day, taking a short walk, but really looking at yourself and how you're doing internally and making sure that you can be present. And self-care isn't selfish. You can't give to others if you're depleted. So trying to operate under high stress levels or exhaustion can prevent you and your employees from living the most effective and fulfilling life. So we're going to talk today about finding strategies for self-care that can easily be incorporated and be intentional in your day and your routines, and will improve your daily productivity and overall functioning. So we'll be discussing some of those strategies as we go through the rest of the workshop. Okay, so the first one, let's quickly just identify physical wellness. Physical wellness means taking care of your body. This involves exercising, eating well, getting enough sleep, and drinking plenty of water, while avoiding self-destructive habits such as smoking, drinking excessively, and too much screen time. Even though many people know that the main tenets of physical wellness are often things that people make excuses for not doing, like me, I didn't do my workout this morning. I haven't been doing my workout lately because of the move. And I keep telling myself it's because of the move. So I need to get back into it and start doing it so that I'm a better me. So we'll go over some strategies to incorporate physical wellness later in the presentation. And then we'll move into mental wellness. So we all know the basic requirements to maintain good physical health. That's easy peasy for a lot of us to talk about and talk through. So mental wellness means taking care of your psychological health. It encompasses both intellectual and social wellness. To begin to understand mental wellness, we'll define one of the components of psychological health, and that's intellectual wellness. So intellectual wellness is engaging in mentally stimulating activities, things that move your mind. And mentally stimulating activities keep the mind focused and alert and reduce the risk of diseases such as Alzheimer's, dementia, depression, and anxiety. And it can really help to regulate your emotions. So fostering curiosity and creativity both have positive influences on the brain and the mental well-being. And continuous learning for fun is another example of how you would do that. So researching topics or reading about topics that would push you to thinking in a different way to stimulate your intellectual wellness, curiosity, and creativity. So the last component that we're going to talk about, I'm also going to include social wellness with emotional wellness, because a lot of our social wellness impacts our emotional wellness. So emotional wellness is the way we react to the world and things coming at us in the moment. Emotional wellness means caring for the spirit, attending to emotions, and establishing peace and balance in your life. Nurturing emotional wellness involves exploring how personal beliefs affect decision-making, practicing mindfulness and activities, breathing exercises, meditation, and for some folks, prayer, and exploring things such as acceptance, forgiveness, boundaries, gratitude, and making rest and relaxation a priority. I know sometimes when I'm stressed, I don't often give myself enough time to recoup. And so I'll just push. But recouping is a part of being able to continue to push. If you don't do it, then you can't keep going. So, or when you do keep going, if you're just not at 100%, so you're not really fully engaged. So think about these 3 areas of overall wellness and reflect on how they apply to your life. And that's where our tool is going to come in here in a little bit. How do the 3 areas of overall wellness apply to your life? And I'll go first. I think for me, physical wellness has always helped me balance my emotional and intellectual wellness. I usually start my day with a workout, whether it's walking or yoga or just doing like minor lifting with weights, nothing major. I lift my dog. So for me, the workout really does. It impacts everything else. It impacts how I feel in terms of being engaged and being able to keep my mind sharp and focused. So I have come to the realization that it's not something that I can choose to do, really. It helps me in all of the other areas of wellness. So for me, the 3 areas of overall wellness, eating well, the physical piece is a big tipping point for me in the other 2 areas. And I think in terms of emotional wellness, I always try to stay in critical thinking. I think you've heard me share this before, but the brain reacts in 3 different ways. You're either in survival, or you're in emotion, or you stay in critical thinking. And if I sense myself getting into emotion or survival, I usually take a step back, press pause until I can get myself to where I'm like, okay, I've got this. I know what the right answer is. I know what I need to do. So for me, those are the two biggies. And intellectually, I feel like as a part of my job, I'm always learning and growing. And so that helps stimulate me. So
I just struggle with all of it. I think just depending on the circumstances, if I'm being honest. I think I know what I need to do, but I don't. And then I come up with an excuse when I am on track and break that cycle. I come up with an excuse for why it's hard to get back on track. I'll do it later. You know what I mean? And I think, I think we give ourselves an out for not taking care of ourselves because we might be taking care of other people. And so we think if we do a good enough job taking care of them, it's okay to sacrifice ourselves. I think that's probably I struggle with all of it, but I think that's why I struggle to even get started and get back on track sometimes, you know?
Yeah. So we often feel like there's a sense of guilt around that, right? Like I have all this stuff to do on my plate, and somebody needs this and somebody needs this and somebody needs this. So you say, well, I'm not going to go for that walk, or I'm not going to read that thing that I wanted to read, or I'm not going to sit with myself and think about what I want to think about. I'm going to go do what someone else wants me to do. So you're right. And that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to set boundaries around that, and not feel guilty for it. But there are ways that I think we can justify saying, I have to do this for me. This is the time that I have blocked off for me. I don't want to be interrupted. I need this time so that I can be better serving you, and saying it in that way. I want to do this for you, but I can't do it right now. Here's when I have time to do it.
You're right.
Okay, so we're getting ready to start looking at the free tool that came in one of the email attachments. So if you have that, we're gonna go through that. Julie, if you have a pen and your freebie ready, what I'd like for you to do is just take a few minutes to think about how much you prioritize wellness in your life right now. And there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just an opportunity for you to reflect on your own wellness. And for each of the 4 components of wellness, physical, emotional, social, and intellectual, circle a 1 for every area that you make a priority, and 0 for every area that's not currently a priority. So for it to be a priority, you can incorporate it. You incorporate it 5 to 7 times a week. If you don't, then it's a 0. Okay, Julie, when you're ready, we can keep moving. I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, did you want me to answer where I'm rating myself or not say anything?
Just kind of give a, just kind of overall, what is your strength and what's your opportunity for growth?
I would say that, yeah, I'm struggling in all of the areas. There's a few that I do well, but not intentionally. It's just that's how it works out, which sounds terrible to say. So I'm struggling in all of them, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
So
So
all of my numbers were low.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that, because that's really hard to share. And I can tell you right now, mine clearly is in the physical, and it's impacting the other areas of my life. And so I notice that and I see that. So I think when we do our coaching session, we'll focus on just ways to chunk that and add a little bit in so that it's manageable for you. So you see a positive impact in the other areas. Okay. So if you're okay with that, that's how I'd like to use our session. I think that would be good.
That's good.
Okay. So this is about where we end the workshop. And I'd like for you to share what are you taking away from this workshop?
Well, I don't know what quite, because there's definitely things that come into my inbox a lot or things that I'm like, that sounds interesting, but I don't take the time to sign up to participate. So Christy, I don't quite know what the reasons were that I happened to be on Facebook and seeing that you had posted about participating today. And I don't think that stress is new. I think I've pretty much had that constant for a long time, but I feel as though I needed the reminder, and I didn't need it to be done in a way that was in my face, but I needed it to be in a professional way, just talking frankly and making it relatable, which is what you've done in how you've covered this today. I think that's probably somewhat because that's your personality, and we've had some really productive conversations, one-on-one at times, that you've always been very just kind and very encouraging, but also willing to listen. And I think sometimes from one professional to another, you just need somebody to listen, and not feel like you're being judged for that. So as far as things that I want to focus on, I think I just need to get started. I just think I need to stop giving myself the out or the excuse and saying that it's okay. I think I just need to get started with one of these. And I think that I'm more inclined to be like you in that I need to do the physical so that it can trickle over to the mental and the emotional for me, because I can see where some things I'm not doing too bad with, but I could be doing better. And then the impression that that would give, whether it's the employees that I'm working with, my coworkers or my family, they're going to see that, and that also benefits them. I want to stay positive, and I want to be a positive example. So, and I think I'm just frankly tired. I think that's probably, I'm just tired of the stress just getting to me and letting it get to me. I want to take that control back.
Yeah. I love it. That was awesome. I love it. Seriously.
Oh,
Like that's, yeah. And I appreciate the kind things you said, because I want to help and make an impact, and hearing that that means the world to me.
Yeah.
And maybe I could be your accountability partner, because I need to get my butt out of bed earlier and do my workout. So
I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. We have, it's been too long since we've gone from talking as frequently as we had to touching base just every once in a while. So it'd be nice to be able to be accountable, but stay connected a bit more,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So if you would, I have a Google form that I ask everybody who attends one of my workshops to complete. You can use a QR code and do it from your phone if you want. I also would appreciate it if you would join our Facebook group page. And I have a Calendly link, but Julie, I can just text you and we can set a time. So
that'd be good.
Yeah. So, but I'd love to have you in our Facebook group so you can get all of the invites to all of our webinars, and we give out freebies and some free material. So, and don't hesitate to pass this on to anybody else that you think might need our help. And I think that concludes today's webinar.